Hello there, welcome back and welcome to a review video. Today I am reviewing this, which is a 23-piece set from China 3D. Essentially it gives you everything you need to fit out your ship with lifeboats, and it also gives you a rudder as well. So what's actually in the box? Well, you get 16 of these 30-foot main lifeboats. These were the main lifeboats carried on Titanic, the biggest lifeboats. The ship actually only carried 14 of these, and you get 16, so 2 spares in case you, I don't know, snap them or eat them or lose them or whatever. So 16 of those. You get 2 of these 25-foot cutter boats. You also get 4 of the collapsible lifeboats, otherwise known as Engelhardts, and you also get 1 of these, which is of course the ship's rudder. So, a full Titanic's worth of lifeboats, plus 2 spare 30-foot boats, and a rudder. And I'm going to review this for you today. So, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reviewing these as a product, what I think of them, their strengths and weaknesses. I'll talk about aesthetically what I like about them. I'll talk a little bit about historical accuracy, where their strengths and weaknesses are. And I'll also compare and contrast them to the KA lifeboats as well. So, that's the plan for today. As with all of these things, I'm always very happy to do reviews. In fact, I'm very flattered that I get sent these things, actually. These have been sent to me free of charge. And as I say, that's really lovely. And I'm very happy to do the reviews. But the one thing I do always say is that I'm happy to do reviews, but I really do them honestly. If I see good stuff, I will talk about good stuff. Equally, if I see bad stuff, I will talk about bad stuff. I just want to make it clear that this is an honest review. This is my own thoughts and feelings on this product. I'm not just saying something that someone wants me to say. As it happens, in this kit, there really isn't anything bad to talk about. They are stunning, as you will see. But, you know, useful to say that sort of thing in advance. So, without any further ado, let's crack on with the review. So let's start with the rudder. Now, I know the backdrop is a wee bit jazzy. That's my William Morris tablecloth, so we'll cover that over. It's got a white background, so it's a bit clearer. And let's just start by having a detailed look at this rudder. So, first of all, as with all the China 3D stuff, honestly, I don't think you would know it's 3D printed. You can just about see, and if I scrape with my nail, I can just feel the printing lines, but we're at a level where a layer of paint is going to cover that over. You know, the quality and the resolution of the printing is absolutely exquisite. Clearly, this is a big improvement over the rudder that you get in the kit, and the main reason for that is because the rudder you get in the kit is not the right shape. This rudder is the correct shape, true to the Olympic class liners. In terms of nice little bits of detail, we've got these really nice sacrificial anodes on either side. So when you're painting those, pick those out in silver or something. They'd have been zinc on the real ship. One detail that I haven't seen on other rudders, please do correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen them on other rudders, is this eyelet there. That's a really nice bit of detail. And you can see the actual brackets between the rudder and the ship. You can see the profile of the bolts which hold the rudder in place. This is a really, really nice bit of kit and a huge improvement and addition to the model. As with all of the 3D printed stuff from China 3D, and indeed 3D printed stuff generally, it can be quite hard to get them off the sprues. You know, you can see there's a lot of support material that's been built up to allow the rudder to be printed effectively. The best way to get this off that I've seen so far is a way that Midwest Model Shop showed on their channel, and that's to get a hot craft knife heated up over a flame and then just cut through those sprues. That seems to work very well. I've found, if you actually look, where they connect onto the part, they are very fine. So you can sort of crush them with your fingernails, but I think a hot knife is a better and safer way of doing it. Certainly for the expense of these parts. You don't want to be accidentally damaging them, you know. So that's the rudder. Right, so next let's talk about lifeboats. There's 3 different types, so we'll start with the 30-foot main boats. This is the China 3D one, and this is a KA boat. So, in comparison, the China 3D comes with these chocks that were sort of on the side that rested on the boat deck and allowed the boat to stand like so. So that's something that these come with that the KA don't. In the KA set, these chocks are made up of brass photo etch that you sort of glue onto the boat and then onto the deck. Now, I do want to just point out that... Ooh, the clock's about to ding. I do want to point out that the KA boat is not bad at all. I mean, I do think that the China 3D is better, but we are talking about iterative changes here. We're not talking about sort of Premiership versus the Conference League. We're talking about, you know, extremely brilliant versus brilliant. You know, you might notice a difference, but you have to be looking to spot the differences. That's what I'm trying to say, I suppose. One thing to say before we go any further: the surface of the deck, the sort of canvas surface on this looks a little bit bobbly. I assure you it's not. I'm running my finger over that and it is perfectly smooth. The reason it looks bobbly is because I've just removed it from the base, and you can see that all that support structure touches up onto there. So the reason it looks bobbly is just because it's a slightly different colour, because I've cut it with some snips. Onto the actual detail, you can see that the detail on the sides, the canvas being pulled taut by these ropes is there. We've got the really nice sort of clinker built wood on the sides, which is really nice. The shape of the boat is really elegant as well. I know that that's just because the boats look very nice, but it's a really nice sort of curved shape. We've got these sort of really nice canvas, the canvas sort of being pulled taut at the ends. You can see there's a couple of sort of threads pulling it taut, and of course that hole there is where the line going up to the davit will go. And that's where I think the biggest improvement on this is actually, because if you look at the KA, the hole for the davit is a big square hole, and whilst you're probably not going to notice it, this does look better. It's more subtle and more realistic. The other thing that I would say is that if you look at the KA, the canvas has sort of ripples on it. And when I first got these, I really liked that. And actually, to be fair, I still like it. But it's not a detail that's replicated on the China 3D. And the reason for that is because on all the photos I can see of Titanic and Olympic, the canvas had no ripples. So this is more accurate from all the photos I can see. But I do still quite like the effect because it shows that it's a canvas cover. But from photos and such that I've found, this is the more accurate, where the canvas doesn't show to have ripples in it. It's sort of stretched taut. So again, really exquisite detail. They've got the nice shaping very well. They've got the sort of the bow of it with a curved edge at the bottom, the stern with a right angle, which the KA set does, but it's quite hard to define because the print, these are I think these are actually cast rather than printed. So it's a bit harder to pick out that detail. So on the 30-foot boats, this stuff is really, really nice. Look at that. A few hours with a paintbrush and that will look absolutely spiffing. Onto the collapsible boats now. And there's big differences here. Collapsible boats were labelled A, B, C and D on Titanic, and they were stored right at the front of the boat deck. 2 on the roof of the officers' quarters, 2 underneath the 25-foot cutters. And these were essentially a hard-bottomed wooden boat with canvas sides that could be sort of lifted up. 2 were successfully launched from the ship. That was C and D, and then A and B floated off the ship as she sank. A was swamped and B was upside down, and quite a few people survived by standing on those boats for about 5 hours. These probably have a bit more detail, and again, I think the KA set is good, in fact very good, but I do think that the China 3D is more accurate. If we look, the shape of the boat is more accurate. The China 3D has that slightly more sort of bulbous shapes at the bow and stern, whereas the KA is a lot more sharp, and China 3D is more accurate there. That's much more like what an Engelhardt looked like. The roping that pulls the canvas sides down, it's fairly well recreated on both, but again, I would give China 3D props for the better accuracy. There's not a lot of detail on the sides because these boats are so very thin, but let's focus on the China 3D because that is the purpose of the video. And there is a lot of nice detail there. You can see the slight sort of rippling of the canvas, and then going down into these bits of rope that pull it taut. So again, really, really nice. And just like the 30-foot boats, the stands which these boats sat on are included in the print on this, whereas on the KA set, you've got to attach them separately. Not a big issue, but just something to be aware of. So that's your Engelhardt's collapsible lifeboats. Right, last of the lifeboats, the 25-foot cutters. So these boats were designed to always be ready. When the ship was at sea, these would be swung out from the sides of the ship from the first set of davits on the port and starboard side, and their job was to be ready. So no canvas covers, oars at the ready, everything ready to go in case person overboard. You know, you get the boat down as quickly as possible and out to them. That was the idea of these boats, which means this gives us a rare opportunity, unless you're doing a sinking model, but if you're doing a normal Titanic at sea kind of model, these are the only boats that you'll be showing without the canvas covers. And so this gives us a rare opportunity to see some of the detail inside these boats. And my word, we get some detail. Firstly, you can see the sort of duck boards right at the bottom of the boat. Absolutely exquisite. Then you can see the ribbing on the side, which the planks would be clinkered onto. Then we've got the gunnels, all the sort of mast and paraphernalia that you got in these boats, and then the actual seating as well. I mean, I feel like whenever I review these things, I sound like a broken record because all I say is, oh, they're lovely, but they are, you know, it's high praise that I can't really think of much else to comment on other than how brilliant they are, because they are just, the detail on them is just exquisite. You know, you've got those guys at the back and the front for where the davits attach. You know, there is there's actually a hole in that. You know, you could thread a piece of rope through there. It really is absolutely spectacular. So, absolute top marks on these. Now, you might notice that these boats are missing their grab lines. So the grab lines are those little lines that sort of loop their way along the side of the boats. That's not a mistake, it's not a miscalculation or anything like that. All that it is that these come in two different varieties. One variety without the grab lines, which is what I was sent, and one variety with the grab lines, which I think other YouTube channels have been sent. Really, that's just personal preference. My intention is to glue the KA grab lines, photo etch ones that come in the KA set, and I'll paint them separately and then glue them onto the side. Really, I don't think it makes any odds. I don't think it changes the boats, but I just wanted to make the point that they haven't been forgotten about. It's just personal preference, with or without. In a lifeboat kit, you get lots of different stuff. You get 14 of the 30-foot boats, you get 2 of the 25-foot cutters, and you get 4 of the collapsible Engelhardts. So you get an entire Titanic's worth of model boats. So there we are. Just to summarise, this is an incredibly good product. I've never been underwhelmed with anything that I've been sent from China 3D, but nonetheless, this is an incredibly good product. Aesthetically, they're brilliant. Detail-wise, they're brilliant. Historical accuracy-wise, they are by far the best I've seen. Particularly the Engelhardt Collapsible lifeboats are a lot more accurate than any other offering I have seen so far. So I am thoroughly impressed by these. If you're interested in buying, there's a number of ways of doing it. I will pop a few links in the description of this video to show how you can buy. However, there is a dedicated Facebook page to these parts from China 3D, and I'll pop a link in the description to that as well. In my opinion, the Facebook page is the better way to go if you can, because there's a bit more guidance on there, and of course you have the ability to ask questions. Clock chiming once again. You have the ability to ask questions, which of course you don't have when you're reading the description of this video. But if you can't get on Facebook, whatever, the links are in the description of this video and you can get them from there. Just a reminder that there are two different sets. There's the set without the grab handles, grab sort of rails, and there's the set with the grab ropes as well. So pick and choose which one you fancy. But as always, there's really not a bad thing to say about these. I am incredibly impressed. So that's about it for today. I will be back soon with more modelling, and I'll also be back soon with more reviews, because I've got quite a bit of stuff to review now. But I shall leave you with some shots of the boats. Thanks very much for watching, and bye for now.